Hey guys, this is Epic5105 and today we're going to be taking a look at the Tiger 131, the tier 6 German premium heavy tank. Now this tank is pretty interesting, first of all for its history, but second of all for its interesting combination of factors such as mobility, armor and firepower that make it a difficult but rather enjoyable tank when played correctly. Unlike the Tiger 1 in-game, this thing does not have great armor. I'd say the armor is really lackluster for the type of tank it is. The armor on the front plate, 100mm, bottom plate, roughly around 100mm unsloped, so once you angle it up, it's like roughly 120 on the upper and 110 on the lower plate. Now this is pretty problematic, seeming that most mediums at tier 6, most lights, not lights, most heavies have over 110 mils of penetration, and most tier 5 heavies and most tier 5 mediums also have over this amount of penetration, so really your armor is not going to stop a lot of shells. Even when you wiggle it around, I find that the whole armor is pretty lackluster. However, the side armor, it's a bit different. You can side scrape. However, the fact that your turret is a centrally mounted turret makes it difficult because when you peek out of a side scraping position, the enemy will always get the first shot in. So if you're side scraping, you want to side scrape rather defensively rather than offensively, because you can't really peek back and trade, because they would simply tap you right through the plates over here. Now the turret is the only redeeming factor considering the armor. It has an amazing turret, I'd say impenetrable by most tier 6s because of that beautiful mantlet. But you do have a cupola, so you do gotta be careful, and when you're side scraping, you want to use the left hand side of the tank. When you're facing front, you want to side scrape like this instead of side scraping like this, because you're going to expose that cupola if you're not side scraping correctly. Also, when you're hold downing, you want to also keep in mind that you do have a cupola and your turret isn't invulnerable. Now you also want to take into account that the side of your turret is rather flat, so you don't want to be treating it like a Russian or Soviet turret. It's not, but it's a good turret. Now the gun is it's probably the best thing about the tank. It has the classic L/56. It does have more DPM than the Tech Tree VK36, and that seems to be the only advantage so far. But yeah, really the gun's not letting me down. It has good dispersion, 0.349, 0.349, and it does shrink down to a rather nice dispersion circle. The aiming time is decent, in 4.6 seconds. Not great, but yeah, then again for tier 6, considering that most weak spots are pretty big, you're going to be hitting those weak spots pretty easily. Reload time is 6.82 with the rammer. I don't run Cali because I don't find the penetration that much of an issue. However, if you want to run calibrated, then it's around 7 seconds. Armor piercing, for AP round it's 150 mils, for APCR it's 200, HE it's 44. These stats are decent, I'd say more than what you need. In theory, you'd be going right through most tanks with the premium round. However, if you want to like go through like the front plate of ARLs and VK36s, you would run calibrated shells. However, I just want to run the gun rammer because what's the point of this tank if the VK36 fulfills everything apart from the DPM? So just gonna give it a bit more DPM on the upper hand. Now the alpha, your standard 220, your 190 on the premium, 270 on the high explosive. Pretty good on the gun stats. You do have 8 degrees of gun depression, so you can hold down, and given that this tank's turret is pretty good, yeah, when you hold down, you have the upper plate covered, you're gonna have good matches. However, the problem is the tank is so big compared to something like with the actual profile of the upper part of the tank being much bigger than the actual turret, so it's gonna be difficult trying to hide everything apart from the turret. Not a lot of cover can sustain only showing your turret, so you gotta get very decisive positions, such as Fort Despair near the cap circle. There's a bunch of rocks you can hold down there, but they can just get that top part of your tank, so you do gotta be careful about where you choose to hold down. Now on the choice of equipment, I do run gun rammer and I do run defense system. I run improved assembly, improved optics, engine accelerator, and because it's my brother's account and he doesn't have much credits, yeah, I only run 5 equipment slots. Now I do pick the improved assembly, but the enhanced armor, really your armor is not going to change much because your turret is the only strong thing, and even when you run it, yeah, you're not going to no one's going to pen that. So improved assembly for 69 extra hit points. Now this is a replay in the Tiger 131 because my actual live gameplay didn't go that well. So the Tiger 131 in this map we showcase the amazing turret armor that the tank has. We hold down quite a bit and in the end we do die. I'm gonna give you guys that. But yeah, we do bounce quite a bit and our gun, it does showcase what the gun can do. Now on both teams we have a rather dominant medium team, but there are some quite notable heavy tanks which are going to push heavy. And the 88, yeah, you're not going to go medium with the 88, so of course the 88 is going heavy. Now we are pushing with the T29 and 2 other heavies into this area over here, which I like to use to hold down. Now we're going to get the opportunity to hold down against these okay, VK36 misses his shell. And we do push over here to try and use this ridge to hold down, because the best thing about this tank's armor is the turret. Okay, I do miss a cheap shot at the VK36 turret, but we do push on forward and take an offensive hold down position, because when this tank side scrapes you can't really shoot back, but when you hold down the enemies are going to have a hard time hitting you, especially if you're wriggling around and doing what yeah, just trying to make that polar shot very difficult. Now we're hopefully gonna get a shot, but yeah, oh, a beautiful shot onto him, dealing almost over 400 damage, killing him with a fire. That's an amazing shot. Now I do forget, oh okay, that you can see here the gun does work, but the accuracy is decent. I'd say for a German gun it's decent, but yeah, you can see the dispersion circle, it does sometimes, yeah, that was just a bad shot on my behalf. Now in this kind of position, this is the kind of position you want to get, because you're kind of, okay, I forget that thing isn't destructible. So this is that position where you have your front kind of angled out to an auto bounce angle is kind of the position you want to get, because that allows you to kind of shoot whilst you're in a position that makes it very hard for the enemy to shoot at you. Now this is another ridge that I like to use to hold down, and you can see the ARL, which has an amazing gun by the way, miss or bounce his shot on my turret, because yeah, we're only exposing our turret. Now we have to remember that this tank is a big tank, so it's kind of hard to get into positions that kind of facilitate an entire hold down position. And you can see me angling around trying to make sure that ARL doesn't shoot my polar. And then you can see here the 88, it's a fearsome tank after it got several buffs. And you can see premium ammo right through the secondary gun. That is a weak spot by the way if you don't want to go for the cupola. And I recommend you not to go for the cupola, because that thing is insanely troll. Now I do hit that machine gun port almost 4 times, and you can just see the accuracy it works. Like if I was playing a KV-1S, it'd take me 10 seconds to aim in for that. But on this tank, it's a pretty nice gun. I like the gun. Now we do get, I'm not sure if that was a penetration because of the polar, but we do get another shot, and you can see here we get a side of the ARL. Hopefully we can tap him. Okay, that was just shoddy aiming on my behalf. I thought he was going to move forward. Now hopefully we can tap him again. He's going to push forward, and yep, we do get a nice shot into the side. And you can see here the gun does roll a bit, only 155, 170-ish rolls, and that is kind of a problem sometimes. But yeah, this gun for some reason just low rolls quite a bit. Not as much as the Russian 122s, but still, it is. You do have to not expect the full 220 roll every time. Now we do get a beautiful premium ammo tap right into the side, and the premium ammo does work. 200 mils, you can go through pretty much every tier 7 if you know how to aim. And yeah, so the gun on the penetration values, you can see there, it did work well. We were able to fight off an 88, which is a rather heavily armored tank for its tier. And now we're going to try and push on the Stuart Emil at Comet, where I make a pretty big mistake. So I don't expect, I do want to clear this Stuart Emil, that's the main thing. And yeah, you can see there the Comet bouncing, you can get bounces from mediums and lights, but yeah, just don't rely on the bounce. So I'm going to make a stupid mistake, and the Stuart Emil is going to tap me easily right through my frontal armor, despite that angle. So if I was playing like a BK36, I doubt the Stuart Emil could have penned that, but the armor on this tank, especially on the front plate, it's really not good. So you can't expect to bounce like Stuart Emil, even at that angle, And we also bounced the Stuart. should have aimed a bit better. The Stuart Emil does have an auto bounce plate near the underneath the super castle, but yeah, that's just an unlucky shot. Now we're going to hopefully clear this Stuart Emil, but the Comet does decide he wants to push us, which is the right idea for the Comet to do. I'm going to lose my Amarak, which is I do lose my Amarak, and I already used my repair kit for the engine, so I have a horrible DPM, and the Comet has practically 3 times my DPM, so I am going to lose because of my Amarak. I get 1 shot in for 222, a very good roll, and hopefully we can clear this Stuart Emil, or our teammate clears him for us. Yep, Stuart Emil does get cleared, and now we want to try and fight this Comet, get 1 shot into him, but because of our damaged Amarak, we just can't put up a fight. He's just going to out DPM us, and if only this was a high roll, it would have been good, but of course it rolled yeah, only 177 roll. Yeah, you can see a kind of a low roll, which shows that this gun's alpha is kind of inconsistent, but yeah, luckily our teammates do clear him, so I'm going to spare you that. Our VK28 does chase him up and clear him. Now, for our second battle, this battle we did get 2.6k. It's on the better side of games that you're gonna get on this tank, and when you get these good games, this tank's pretty fun. You can see how we were able to get those nice accurate taps, and I think it's a rather enjoyable tank. But the problem is that the VK36, I'd say, is better than this on almost every level. Now, in this map, we do get a 3k game in the 1v1. I again try and take a hold down position, and mainly I side scope. I mainly side scope for this battle because on this map the only hold down positions are either the ship, the actual Yamato itself, or the sea cap, which has a lot of hills and terrain. But that requires gun depression, which this tank doesn't have as much as I would prefer it to have. It only has 8 degrees, which is historical. But then again, seeing that you're such a big tank, you can't really hold down very easily on positions that do take up a lot of your hull. So you can see I'm trying to get those positions where objects protruding from solid ground cover my hull, and this position here is really good for that. We can set up a crossfire on this 88, and we do get a nice tap with him for 250. And the Chieftain, the Churchill Mark 6 is trying to push up on the side, and we do set up a crossfire between with the other tanks that are fighting him. I believe the T-34-85 and the Stoke G3. Now, hopefully you get another tap into his turret. Nice tap into him, and the 88 begins to push. We do get a lucky bounce, but he is running the stock gun, so we can't really judge the armor profile of this tank based on the fact that the 88 can't pen us. Now, you can see the 88 does have a rather troll cupola. I do try and hit several shots into his cupola, but they all magically bounce. Yes, I would not recommend you go for that cupola. Try and go for that gun instead. That gun, the secondary gun on this side, it's much more reliable penetration. Yeah, you can see my shoddy aiming skills playing into effect. Now I'm going to try to pull again, but yeah, it's just not going to hit. It's just not going to hit. And I'm just going to divert my attention because I've already wasted so many shells, and our T-34-85 is taking a lot of damage. We've lost our T-34, so it is a 5 versus 7. So I got to clear either the 88 or the Churchill. So yeah, I did go for the secondary gun now because I just gave up trying to shoot that cupola, and we have the VK36 pushing off. Luckily the VK36 is running the stock gun, and he is heavily focused on the T-34-85, so that allows us to kind of escape this. And the Tiger 131 is also a tier 6 tank, so you're coming up against tier 6s when you buy this tank. So yeah, if you're skillful, then yeah, this tank can work really well because the skill level of tier 6 isn't really that high. Now I'm going to try and side scope off here and wedge this 88 so he can only shoot at my side. Now this is exactly what I want because he can't penetrate me. And even with the stock gun, the 88 is easily able to whip right through our frontal plate, which just shows, yeah, kind of how unreliable the armor is. I'm going to go for the VK36 for the clearing shot, and hopefully we can also clear the Churchill, who is also a one shot. Fire a nice standard shell right through the side armor, and right now I'm going to pop on the speed because I have adrenaline on and I'm not afraid of being at DPM. You can see 5 seconds into adrenaline, that's pretty impressive. I'm going to activate the auto aim and flank this 88. And yeah, he's not going to live for much longer because when he tries to turn away, we do manage to put a nice tap into his armor. Now just only the Nashorn left, and seeing that he's got no kills and that he's not spotted, we can only regard that he is AFK. So we're going to push into the spawn, but we are going to spot him in the sniper position, covering the medium side. So that farm is going to allow us to pass the 3k barrier. We could have even got more, but we did miss one of our shots. Now we're going to hopefully push into the spawn to spot him, but it doesn't look like he's in the spawn. So we are going to try, yep, we spot him in the camping position. He looks like he might have gone AFK, maybe a network issue or something. And because I'm afraid that the the KB2 is going to steal the damage, I do try and go for the emergency shot over there. But yep, doesn't look like the KB2 is going to get him, and we do get 2 taps into him, and taking 500 of his hit points with us and getting us over the 3k barrier. 3.033k damage. It's probably my second best game in this tank. I can't exactly recall my best game in this tank. I can't find a replay. But yeah, this is on the better side of matches. And you can see, because we were up tier, because the enemy tanks, some of them were stock, we were able to get some nice bounces. But the armor, you can see, with stock 88 penetrating us right through the upper plate, it's not really that good. So overall, I would recommend this tank to be a hold down tank. Use all that gun depression, try and peek ridge lines, and wriggle around to hide that cupola. If you're about to die, go with side scrape, because that side armor is going to serve you well. That's it, guys. This is Epic5105. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.